Hello my beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. And today I'm gonna be talking about all of the books that I read in January. I read a surprising amount of books for me. Five books I read this. This is the first book that I picked up. I gave this 5 stars on Goodreads, and I found this book actually in Dollar Tree, which is crazy. I paid only $1.25 for it, and when I picked it out, I was like, oh, there's no way this is gonna be a good book because it was like $1.25. And then when I started reading this, I'm like, oh, I should have never judged you because you're actually a really interesting book. The story was really good. She kind of lives like 2 lives when she goes to this camp in the summertime. She has a lot of friends, she's very well known, she's very happy there. But then when the camp is over and she goes back to her regular life, it's not very happy situation. But then those 2 lives come together, and then there's a murder that happens and she has to solve because people are kind of blaming it on her. So she has to like solve what happened to this guy, and she's gonna learn a lot of truths. I really recommend this book. This book was amazing. The writing was really easy to read. The font of this book is beautiful. It was so easy for me to read because I hate small fonts, because I always read physical copy. I don't like reading like audiobooks or like on Kindle or like listening to books. There's people walking. This is embarrassing. A little Red Bull break. I haven't had these in such a long time, so I'm definitely gonna get a burst of energy. Why do you taste so good but you're so bad? Anyways, let's get back to the books. The second book that I picked up was Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas, and I've had this book on my TBR for such a long time. She's been just sitting there looking pretty, looking cute, and then one day I was like, you know what, I am reading you. So I picked her up, I started reading, and the first 5 chapters I was like, whoa, this is kind of difficult. The font is a little bit small. One chapter was like 10 pages, and I'm like, boy, what do you need 10 pages for? As I continued reading it, the story was just kept getting better and better. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Extra part that was at the end, the exclusive bonus material, that's what it's called, at the end of the book, I personally wasn't a big fan of it because they just switched the characters and how they met each other, which was fine, sure, but like I personally liked how they met the first time. And the story, oh my gosh, how do I explain this to you where you pick up this book and start reading it, because you're not gonna be disappointed at all, because I personally haven't heard a bad review about this book, and that should say something. Now this is my 3rd book that I read in January, and you're actually supposed to read the Cat and Mouse Duet first, which I already done. The Cat and Mouse Duet is the Hunting Adeline and Haunting Adeline, and I personally feel like you don't have to read those to get this book and read it, because it's kind of easy to understand what's happening. I gave this book like 3 stars. It has a lot of gruesome, disturbing, intimate scenes where it's like really like, whoa. Even for me, like I read Hunting Adeline and Haunting Adeline, and those 2 books are a little bit like crazy, but this book I was like, this is too much for me, and I finished reading it. It's a short book, it's a skinny legend, so it's not gonna take you a long time to read it. The font is ginormous, so it's gonna take you literally like a day to read, not even. I really wouldn't recommend getting this book. It was just there. The one thing that I do like about this book though, that when you open the page, the first picture you see is of the main character. This is how the main girl is described as. Her name is Molly, obviously. And the artwork is so gorgeous, and this is probably my favorite part about this whole book, just this. But yeah, I give this book like 3 stars on Goodreads. It was okay. I would definitely not recommend this to anyone, I don't think. There's blood and pigs and eating body parts and all of that fancy, juicy, yummy stuff, then pick this up. If you're not into that, do not pick this up. And the last, well, this is not the last book I read. I don't think I brought the 5th book with me, unfortunately. I thought I did, but I did not. But this is the 4th book that I read in January. It's a part of a series. The first book is The Coven by Harper L. Woods. I got this book as a gift from my brother, and this is the first book that I have that is a fantasy. It involves vampires, witches, magic, powers, all of that beautiful, amazing stuff. So when I first started reading this book, I was scared that I'm going to be confused. This book was very easy to keep track. You can't really get confused with it. The romance, I'm going to say, is a 10 out of 10. Like, I loved it. There was a little bit of banter, there was a little bit of hate and love, and just a little bit of everything. There is a lot of action in this book as well. And the way that this writer writes, it's like it plays like a movie in my head, which doesn't happen often with books. But if you have very good writing, it just kind of plays like a movie, which I really love. And this book definitely did that. The size of the font is beautiful. It's not too big, not too small. And every chapter has a little skull with flowers around it, which there's a meaning to that. So if you do pick up this book and you choose to read this book, you're gonna know the meaning of it. I gave this book either 5 stars or 4 stars on Goodreads. Really amazing book. These are all of the books that I read in January. If you liked this video and if you enjoyed, give this video a big like. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos of me talking about books. Have a good day. Bye.